No mere Chevette, 1987 Pontiac T-1000 on Bring a Trailer. They built excitement, except in this case. Let's rewind to the 1980s, a time of bold colors, big hair, and even bigger promises from car makers. Pontiac, known for building excitement, delivered performance legends like the Firebird Trans Am and GTO. But not every car from the brand screamed horsepower and style. Enter the 1987 Pontiac T-1000, a car that, despite sharing a name with a Terminator, couldn't chase down a parked bicycle. Built as Pontiac's badge-engineered version of the Chevrolet Chevette, the T-1000 was GM's attempt to give frugal buyers a no-nonsense commuter with a hint of Pontiac attitude. It wasn't exciting, it wasn't powerful, but in a weird way, it survived. Most of these have long since rusted away or been scrapped, yet this one, with just 68,000 miles, has emerged on Bring a Trailer like a glitch in the Matrix. With retro, hatchback styling, an honest 1.6-liter four-cylinder engine pumping out a mighty 65 horsepower, and a 3-speed auto, this isn't a car built to win races, but it might just win hearts with its quirky charm and time-warp condition. In the 1980s, Pontiac built excitement, but they also built this. The T-1000 was Pontiac's version of the Chevrolet Chevette, GM's most humble economy car. This example is fairly loaded, but it's more remarkable just for still existing. A T-1000 is relentless. It doesn't get tired. It doesn't sleep. It will never stop until, oh, hang on, that's the one in the movie Terminator 2. In this case, it's an economy-minded Pontiac hatchback, and we've said hasta la vista to almost all of them by now, but not every single one. This rare find on eBay Bring a Trailer, which, like Car and Driver, is part of Hearst Autos, is a 1987 Pontiac T-1000. With just 68,000 miles on the odometer, it's a time capsule. It's of the right age to have been driven to watch Arnold Schwarzenegger firing off one-liners on the big screen. Pontiac's tagline at the time was, "We build excitement," and never was that more true than with the T-1000. Sorry, never was that true of the T-1000. With a 65 HP 1.6-liter four-cylinder and a 3-speed automatic transmission, this was one dog-slow Pontiac. Remember that part in T2 where Robert Patrick runs fast enough to catch up to a car while dressed as a police officer? He could probably catch this thing without breaking a sweat. Having said that, cars like the Chevette and this Pontiac clone were part of what made up the driving landscape in the 1980s and early 1990s. In fact, this humble little car might have a potential career ahead of it on the silver screen. Not as a hero car, no, but anyone looking to set a period piece set between 1985 and the late 1990s might just need a common at the time compact car for background work. A couple of gigs, and it'll pay for itself. This final year example has a little wear here and there, but is well optioned for its breed. It has power steering, cloth-trimmed seats, an AM/FM radio, wheel trim rings, and even air conditioning. Recent work is said to include a new timing belt and a rebuilt transmission, although it's said to be slow to go into reverse. And there was some collision damage noted from 3 decades ago. It's not a Concours car, but what Chevette-based Pontiac was ever going to be. Instead, it's a little throwback time traveler with inexpensive running costs that won't terminate your wallet. No problemo. So, what exactly do you do with a car like this 1987 Pontiac T-1000 today? Well, first off, don't expect it to turn any heads at the drag strip or keep up with modern traffic on the highway. With its modest 65 horsepower and a 3-speed automatic transmission, this car was never about speed or power. It was about practicality, affordability, and getting you from point A to point B without much fuss. But that's exactly what makes it special. The T-1000, like its Chevrolet Chevette cousin, represents a huge slice of automotive history that often goes overlooked. While car enthusiasts drool over muscle cars, exotics, and restored classics, millions of everyday drivers in the 1980s and early 90s were behind the wheel of humble, no-frills cars like this. These were the workhorses of the road, budget-friendly, reliable, and importantly, accessible to a large segment of the population. What's even more remarkable about this particular example is how well it has survived the decades. With just 68,000 miles, it's a genuine time capsule, a rolling memory of simpler times before GPS, infotainment screens, or even airbags were standard. It's a car that could have easily been scrapped, forgotten in a junkyard, or melted down for parts. But instead, it's here, preserved and surprisingly well-equipped for its class. Inside, you'll find some comfort features that were decent for the era. Power steering, cloth seats, an AM/FM radio, and even air conditioning. Luxuries, not guaranteed in all economy cars back then. It's not a concours quality machine by any means. And the old collision damage and minor quirks like the slow-to-engage reverse gear remind you that this is a lived-in car, not a museum piece. But maybe that's the charm. The Pontiac T-1000 doesn't pretend to be anything more than what it was. A sensible, budget-friendly, compact hatchback. And in today's world of pricey restorations and highly sought-after classics, there's something refreshing about a survivor like this. It's affordable, practical, and has a story to tell about the average driver's life in the late 20th century. From a cultural perspective, there's even a little fun in the name. While T-1000 instantly brings to mind the relentless, shape-shifting villain from Terminator 2, this Pontiac is exactly the opposite. Slow, steady, and far from intimidating. If Robert Patrick's T-1000 could catch up to a car on foot, you can bet it could outrun this Pontiac without breaking a sweat. So, who is the right buyer for a car like this today? Maybe it's someone who wants a reliable, easy-to-maintain, classic for daily driving without the headaches of a high-performance vehicle. Or maybe it's a filmmaker or set decorator looking for an authentic 1980s commuter car to feature in a period piece, one that instantly evokes the era without stealing the spotlight. No matter what, this Pontiac T-1000 reminds us that automotive history isn't just about exotic supercars or muscle-bound icons. It's also about the thousands of everyday vehicles that quietly shaped our roads and lives. The T-1000 might not be exciting or fast, but it's a survivor. And in the world of classic cars, surviving 3 decades and still running is an achievement worth celebrating. If you appreciate honest, original cars with stories to tell, if you love digging into the forgotten corners of automotive history, then the 1987 Pontiac T-1000 deserves a place in your collection, or at least your curiosity. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into a truly unique classic, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more quirky and rare car stories like this one. Drop a comment below. Would you ever consider owning a Pontiac T-1000? Or do you have a different budget classic you swear by? Let's chat. Until next time, keep your engines running and your eyes on the road.